Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? My name is Peter Rosenberg, and I am sitting down right now with one of my favorite comedians of all time. He is at Caroline's all weekend long. That will be tonight, 7:30. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, and a show on Sunday night. Damon Wayans.
What's happening, man?
How are you, man?
I'm loving life. How you doing?
Let's get right to the most important issue of the day.
Hit it. What?
Talk to me about when Halle Berry was laying on top of you. Okay? Let's go right back to
I
there.
wanted to marry her.
Why didn't you, man? Last Boy Scout,
Because I was already married.
Damn!
To a woman that looked like her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did your woman deal with that situation? Because you had some good moments in that movie.
It cost me half.
Oh, damn it!
No, it was hard because the morning I had to do a love scene with her.
I know. Believe me, I know. I remember them. I love the movie.
They cut it out the movie, but it's spectacular.
Was there nudity in the?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
And she was like 22.
Yes.
Oh my! Like she had just been putting People magazine 50's most beautiful people. Like she was just scorching at that time.
Oh my God, she was and up close and in your arms with your mouth on her.
Yo, how do you do
Delicious.
that? Can you just tell me how that works as an actor?
Well,
like that's not acting.
Well, it is because she's gonna go off and do another movie and have her mouth on somebody else. So you gotta have perspective. You gotta understand that.
But does one find themselves aroused in that situation?
I think that's why they got rid of the footage.
They're like, Damon's boner's ruining this movie.
Could you put the boner away?
We didn't ask for that.
Bring out some ice. I need some ice.
We're going to talk about a bunch of things, including your new app, which I know you're very excited about, and I want to hear all about that. From that era, what was your favorite of the movies? Because you had a great movie run there where you had a bunch of honestly, I got to tell you, I don't know which ones were deemed hits and which ones were just beloved by the people. But which was your favorite?
One of the favorites was Major Payne. Because I wrote that with my partner Dean Laurie, and I got a chance to just do what I wanted to do. That was one of the first movies that I produced. That and Mo Money. Mo Money was fun because it was Marlon, and I got a chance to hang out.
You didn't produce Blank Man?
And Stacey Dash.
Another one. Yo, you just had to touch up on every hot black chick of the '90s. That was your.
There was a love scene in that we cut out.
Yo, so you intentionally do these love scenes that just get cut out for the movie.
Yeah, there's a love scene in Major Payne too.
Everything.
No, I'm kidding.
Wait, did you produce Blank Man?
Yes, produced Blank Man, produced Major Payne, produced Mo Money, and something else, but I forgot.
As a producer, a lot of people don't understand that part of the Hollywood game. Like, was that part almost as important as the acting?
Yeah. Well, if you want to ensure your vision, because what happens is on a movie, it's a collaboration. So everybody wants to put their stank on it and say that, I saved the movie. But if you're a producer, you have veto rights. That means that you ensure the vision from inception to fruition, and you got to call the shots. So you have to be engaged. You can't just be a producer. You could, but you're foolish if you do.
Have you produced stuff that you weren't in as well?
Yeah, like Wayne Head. What else did I produce that was in? I was trying to do that with The Underground, which is a sketch comedy show. I produced Sofia Vergara's first show.
Did you have a love scene that got edited out of that as well?
No, it was a sitcom.
Too bad. Were you like, listen, we just got to do it. They're like, you're not even in the show. You're like, let me just do this love scene real quick. We'll cut it.
No, I wish. I wasn't in it with her. I was just producing.
You should have done a love scene anyway. That's what I'm saying.
I know.
I think that's what they call just fucking someone. That's different. When it's a love scene.
She's gorgeous. She's sweet,
man.
too. Very sweet. And that accent just makes
it's
your
crazy.
toes twinkle. Yeah.
So you said Major Payne. Now, Major Payne also in terms of hip-hop. Tell me at this point what it means to be out and hear that Major Payne like Damon Wayans. Like, how good is that to have? Just talk about that.
It's awesome to be, quote, because Drake gives me shouts out all the time. And, for Biggie, you go to the club. If I go to a club and I hear, Low Down Even like his brother Keenan, I think that's like, it's so amazing. It's like you go, in the back of your mind, you go, yeah, I made it.
Come on, like as much as anything can cement you as being culturally important, to have like one of the most iconic American artists really in the last 50 years in Biggie, who's as the years go on, his importance continues to grow. have that reference where he blatantly shouts out your whole government name. That's pretty good.
No, it's awesome. But when we did In Living Color, Keenan had a platform, gave a platform to all, like Public Enemy and Biggie, and all of them came on the show. Nas,
even way smaller. I mean, y'all had people who were like when I look at the list of artists who were on In Living Color, I mean, he had people like, Adore and like just the most I think Chi Ali, like the most random good underground acts were on there.
Yeah, kudos to Keenan for that.
And then your brother Sean, who I know pretty well, was up there with turntables that weren't even plugged in. But that's a different story.
He doesn't even DJ. He doesn't know how to set it up.
No, there was nothing. The wires would just hang to the floor.
I used to actually DJ. I still have 1200s.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you DJ?
In a coffin, huh?
When did you DJ?
Like back in the day, back with cats like Bill Blass and way back to Starsky, Lovebug Starsky. And
how old are you?
I'm 54.
You're 54. God, black don't crack.
Dude, when you make it president, that's when we start to crack.
You don't look 54 though.
I don't feel 54. I don't ever want to look. When I'm dead, I want to look 54.
That's fine. Fair enough. How old's Keenan? 5 years older than you?
No, he's about 2 years older than me.
Really? See, I always thought he was more significantly older than you than that, because I feel like I knew his name a few like 5 years earlier.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he's older, and he was the pioneer in the family. He opened up all the doors.
Yeah, he opened a lot of doors. How much time do you spend here in New York? I know this is home originally.
It's home. Mom's is here, Dad is here, so I get a chance to come in and spend a lot of time in New York.
You still hanging out in these Chelsea streets?
Sean calling me. Not like I used to. I still, like, I just hung out with my boy Bob Nett. Shout out to Bob Nett. We went, hung out. Those like family, old friends. It's important to have friends. I knew Bob since I was like 4 years old.
Where are you in L.A.?
I live in Santa Monica.
Oh, fantastic life you live.
It's amazing. Well, the New Yorker in me needs to walk. Got to walk. There's nowhere to walk.
Santa Monica has some nice walk life. That's absolutely right.
Yeah. You can go and get something to eat, go to a movie. You can do things.
Yeah, there's that's great. Santa Monica's fantastic. Tell people about this app you have. Well, I'm curious about what this is.
So I have this app. It's called V-Heads, and if you go to my Instagram page, you'll see what it is, or you download the app. But basically, this is the app, and this is what it do. Let me get it for you.
If you put it up, show it to me and put it next to the microphone. There you go.
No, what I just do with it.
Don't mess it up. Come on.
No,
I know you're
here.
54, but you got to learn how to learn Instagram.
97. What you know about it? I been Steph Curry with the shot, been cooking with the sauce, Chef Curry with the pot, boy. 360 with the wrist, boy. Hey, who the fuck them niggas is, boy?
Why are you cursing at me? Why are you using the N-word? Oh, so hold on. So what he just showed me for the people listening, it was the Instagram video. So it allows you to add music and effects to your Instagram.
Right. You can add a photo. Like I took a photo of your Hot 97, and then I put a video inside of a little TV screen. Everybody wants 15 seconds of fame, so here it is. And so when I go through stuff like Instagram, I go, well, this is cool, I would like, but some of these photos make me want to scream. With V-Heads, you're able to just comment or put music or put your own little stank on it.
Where do you pull the music from? Does it have to
be from your library?
So whatever music's on the library on your phone.
Yeah, unless it's digital right managed. But for the most part, whatever's on your iTunes will go in.
You can just pull that in there and put it in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really dope, dude.
Yeah.
And so wait, that's called V-Heads.
V-H-E-D-Z.
Let me go see what he's trying to hit you over the head for, guys.
V-H-E-D-Z. It's free.
It's free.
Yeah.
So what's the upside in something like that for you?
I'm building a community.
Why are you building a community?
So I could sell it for a lot of money.
Okay, good. Well, here's the question. So that's the thing I have to ask you. Like, how much are you still? Obviously, you're financially good, and you're gonna be financially good.
More money, more money.
I mean, then again, that is you, literally. So how much do you still seek out more money at this point? Like,
well, this is, for me, I'm trying to inspire the youth, right? So the youth looks at, basketball and rap, and they think, okay, that's what I want to be. But, when you think about basketball, are you better than LeBron James?
No.
Because that's what you're going to have to bring to the table in order to really command the dollars that you think you're going to make in the NBA. And then with rap, are you Jay-Z? Are you better than Jay-Z? Because that's where you have to, that level you have to reach. So with tech, you got to make tech sexy. Got to make it cool so that the kids look and go, yo, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. I want to inspire. I want to curate. I want people to bring me ideas, and then I'll develop them, because I've spent my time and my money, more importantly, learning the business of tech and how to start.
Why did you do that? Why do that instead of move into a different part of your career where you're making more like adult romantic comedies or dramas? Or why are you more inspired to do stuff in the tech world?
I think making content is a sucker's game. Right? It's about distribution. Netflix, that's distribution. And it's about, so for me, it's like that's where the future is going to be. You better get in the door now. You're going to get left out. Technology is huge. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. There's a Mount Rushmore being built right now in Silicon Valley. Whose face is on that wall? You got Steve Jobs.
Yep.
You got Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Nobody black, nobody of color has done anything significant in the tech world. I'd like to be the first.
Wow, but don't you? And you are more motivated in that sense. What you're saying to me is you're more motivated by that idea and what that would mean. And by the way, there's obviously, when you're saying that, there's social and socioeconomic things there at play there. But you're more interested in that than creating art at this point.
No, I still create. That's why I'm at Caroline's this week.
You're still out on the road performing.
Because what's interesting is right now I'm using my right brain to solve left brain problems, which is the tech. But I have to keep my right brain strong, because tech, numbers and data and all that is boring. It's not funny.
Wait, which side of the brain is which? Right is the
creative side.
Right's the creative side.
The left is the analytical side. So I'm
my left side is dead.
I'm doing.
It's not even. It's just not even there.
Good. Well, good.
I need to work on. No, it's the worst, because I have this conversation every day. People assume because my name is Rosenberg that my left brain is just rocking. No, I'm only this. This is it. I'm only the creative side. I have no natural inclination. Like what you're doing, I wouldn't be doing that. I'd still be a sucker out there trying to chase whatever little the same shit. I never see the vision of like, let me get in early and this is how you do it.
Well, for me, it's like if the cause is not greater than you, you have no cause. And so for me, it's about inspiring the youth. I'm going to be all right. Financially, I'm going to be all right. I've been blessed beyond my wildest imagination. But there's an opportunity to open up doors and open up a vision for other people to come in, because I'm not going to come up with the great idea. Someone else is going to come up with the idea that trumps what I'm doing. I just want to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about this punk little motherfucker who's out here running around. Damon Wayans Jr.
Yeah, I love that guy. He's amazing.
I got to tell you, he did our podcast. He came by early on and won me over right away. Like I said, I was already a fan of you, and I told him that right out of the gate. But he, you never know when you meet like a genius's kid, like a comedy genius. It could be anything. You never know what the rapper's kid. Some of them are great. Some suck dick, and you really don't know until you meet them what the deal is, right? He has it. Like this kid, I mean, where do you see? I know it's hard to say it because it's your son, but what is the ceiling for Damon Wayans Jr.?
Well, Jr. has, I think, it's interesting to see the next generation. I grew up poor. I grew up with a club foot. I grew up, you
have a club foot?
Yeah, born with a club foot. Born in the, in the projects, poverty, and so he didn't have all that. So he's me without all the anger and that dark side. He's just a great dude, and he's just he loves to laugh, And what's interesting is I have another son who is just as funny, and but he don't want to listen to me. So he's like,
what's the age difference?
2 years. But my son Michael is the true talent in the family.
Really?
Michael is brilliant. He reads books on quantum physics for leisure. The dude is like brilliant, but he thinks comedy is like beneath him.
And does Damon Jr. agree that he's also brilliant?
Yes.
Everyone knows this.
Everybody's telling Mike, you need to do this. Do this, Mike. But he's got a daughter now, so he's focused. He wrote 3 scripts in less than a year, just because he can. And He does it, and he just throws it. Read that, Dad. I'm like, dude, this is great. He goes, yeah, I'm writing another one. It's like, what? Do something with this.
Was there a conversation had? I remember when Let's Be Cops came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was really excited to see the movie, and I remember thinking I was actually in L.A. and it was right when Michael Brown happened, or when the verdict happened. That had to be a killer, no pun intended. But I mean, that, like, that was too soon. Yeah. But I said, damn, no one wants to see a funny cop movie right now because everyone had all this anger directed at cops. Was that a conversation that you guys had, that the timing sucked?
Well, I tell my son, I said, you can't take none of this personal. You can't control what goes on in the world. You can't control anything except your performance. Don't feel bad because you did a cop movie. Had you known this Michael Brown thing would have went down, you probably would have made a different decision in terms of, even committing to the movie. But you don't, he did that 6 months, 9 months prior to what happened with Mike Brown. So, there's no
way of knowing that.
Yeah, there's no way of knowing what's going to go on in the world. Who knew that Kim Jong-un would...
He's great. You know what? V-Heads is just about to, your app is just quiet right now. Don't let Kim Jong-un find out.
Kim Jong-un. They say Kim Jong-un. That's funny.
Yo, you had one of the most classic... It was a Showtime special, right? Was Showtime or HBO?
HBO.
I always say Showtime for some reason. HBO special. What, 95?
Something like that. I did 4 of them.
What was the first one?
First one was a one-night stand, which was a half hour.
Okay, no.
And then I did Still Standing. I did The Last Stand, and then I did Way Out, and there was one more.
Which was the one where you did OJ stuff?
Still Standing.
That was a iconic special, my friend.
That was fun.
That was a good run. Would you ever consider trying to, when you do tours like this, and again, Damon's at Caroline's all weekend long, tonight, 2 shows, Friday, Saturday, and 1 on Sunday, tickets at carolines.com. Anything like this, is this ever prep for something that big again?
I'm actually thinking about doing another special. I want to do another special. It's just, it has to be right. When guys are pumping out specials every year, 2 times a year, that's insane to me because I think you have to live life. And so for me, I've lived some life since my last special, and I have something to say about being a grandfather, about being, diabetic, about being, single. It's just
How long you been single for?
About 7 years.
How's that going?
It's great. I'm deliciously single. That means I love it. I have my freedom. I went to Paris, just walked around, went to Barcelona. Can't do that in a relationship.
Just go wander around and see what happens.
You can't tell you one. I think I'm gonna go to Paris and hang. She goes, "Ooh, that's gonna be great. We can have a little picnic underneath the Eiffel Tower." No. I want to go to Paris without you. You can't do that.
Well, and the beauty of being divorced at your age now is you have adult children, you have family, you have support. It's not like you're lonely.
Yeah,
you've got family galore. There's family everywhere.
And when I see what's happening in the world, in terms of relationships, I don't know if I don't want an Instagram chick. I don't want a chick posting our everything on Instagram and on Twitter, and you get mad at me, and then you're gonna put it out on Twitter. I couldn't handle that.
No, that would be very hard for you to get in this game right now.
Yeah,
you've been famous for too long.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
How much do you get ass still just thrown at you for being Damon Wayans? And these chicks don't think you're 54. Not that it matters.
They wouldn't care.
They wouldn't make a difference. You'd be 74.
Balls look old when they're young. It don't matter.
No one's ever said that's a young-looking pair of balls. Facts. If you're willing to put them shits in your mouth at any age, they're always disgusting. Right. But I mean, are you turned off by the girls just throwing it at you because you're famous, or are you fine with that?
I don't go out. I don't really party and stuff like that. I mean, if a woman comes into my life, she's sent by God at this point, because I just don't, I don't put myself in those positions where I'm out meeting chicks. I'm like seriously single and doing nothing.
Just chilling.
Yeah, because I get a chance to focus on. But this tech stuff is hard, dude.
Yeah, I know. But when you were married, you probably wanted to fuck everything that moved.
And I did, and that's why I'm not married. And then after a while,
so then she should have just stayed with you. You should be like, "Listen, it's done. I'm good."
No, but now, for whatever reason that didn't work out. But now I'm at peace. I approach the day. I wake up whistling because I can do whatever I want with my day. That kind of freedom, it's not, like I said, unless she is like the most amazing woman in the world, Paula Patton.
She's available.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying, unless it's something like that, someone that's going to contribute to my life,
yes,
and my joy, yeah, I'll rock with her. But I don't see it right now.
I can't believe that you're a guy, single man, left his devices and doesn't use it for evil.
But I've done it all. I balled out on such a
When
high
was
level
the baller period when it was just disgusting? It was just hamburger.
from about 30 to 47.
Oh my god! So the whole time you were married, you were just a wild animal.
During at a certain point in my relationship, I just maybe not from 30, from my 35.
Okay.
I was
So you're saying I could start right now. I'm 35. This is the time to start.
No, I'm saying if you have a relationship, it's better. In hindsight, I wish I would have stayed in my marriage.
You do.
It would have been
So
better for my kids. It would have been better for when you look back. Marriage is so that you can look back and go, wow, I was here, and someone knows me better than anybody else on the planet. And that's really what you get at the end of the day. It's like, we did this together. High five before I put you in the ground.
that started out as like a positive way to look at marriage. It just got terrible as it went on. So, but when it was at its most extreme, right? Like you're making the movies and you're just out there. Like, I mean, how extreme are we talking about?
Crazy.
You're talking about multiple women at the same time.
I've done it all, and I'm glad. I'm thankful to God that I was able to tap
some
out.
good celebrity stuff. You had some good celebrity stuff come through there.
I've done it all. Balled out on a very high level.
You had Rosie Perez or J Lo. Which of the Fly Girls?
I will never tell who I had or why I had them.
I figured you're a gentleman, but still, comedy right now. It's an interesting space. You mentioned Netflix. There's all these great specials coming out. A lot of comedians doing new stuff. There's big talent that people are talking about. Hannibal's amazing. Gerard Carmichael. There's a lot of new talent that people are very excited about. We're sort of living in the Louis C.K. era. He's having his.
I like Louis. I saw him the other night.
He's having his run on top right now as that dude. Who are you really into right now? Ignore the weird tall Mexican who just walked past.
Who am I into? I still love Dave Chappelle, but nobody. For me, there's nobody really speaking on what's going on in the world. So, when I think back to Richard Pryor, to Lenny Bruce, to George Carlin, these guys, they took no prisoners. Comedy today is very safe, and everybody's afraid of pissing off somebody. So you got all these groups and organizations that I call them the thought police that won't let you talk about. You can't talk about Jews. You can't talk about gays. You can't talk about blacks. You can't talk about cops.
Hey guys, make sure you edit the part out where he says the words Jews and gays.
Yeah.
I can't even talk about it myself.
Yeah, you just can't talk about it. Otherwise, you're, look what just happened with, North Korea. They just shut down a movie. It's like you gotta be careful because what happens is the 24-hour news cycle. They need news, so they'll take something that's not really news and make it the top story and just run it in the ground.
I mean, speaking of which, I have to mention this. Obviously, you're here. The Bill Cosby story just went from 0 to 100 real fucking quick.
Right.
How do you take? I mean, obviously, you grew up looking up to Bill Cosby. The story's fucking weird. No matter what you say, the story's bizarre. The whole thing's very weird. I never thought growing up that big. Oh, one day there's gonna be a story, and 30 women are gonna come out and say that Cliff Huxtable is accused of raping them. How have you taken that story in as someone I'm sure admired him growing up?
How'd you take Woody Allen? That's how
well, hold on. Here's the thing. First of all, two things. One, Woody is our R. Kelly, right? That's how I've always said previous to now, right? But here's the thing.
Your R. Kelly is funny.
Woody's our R. Kelly. Now, and by that I mean he did something really bad potentially, but we don't really know the circumstance, just like Bill. The weird part is about Bill, though, is that you're talking about such a high number of people, right? Which, if it's true, it looks so maniacal.
Listen, how big is his penis that he makes you forget for 40 years? What is that? What kind of pudding pop he got that makes you just erase your memory for 40 years? Come on.
No, see, that's different because I know women who have slept with me and they also forget, but it was intentional. They aim to forget, and they still forget to this day.
But look, somebody said in 1965 he walked into the dressing room of Johnny Carson and just popped his penis in her mouth. Come on. They killed Martin Luther King in 1968. Black people didn't rape until about the 90s. we weren't that free.
To just pull out your dick.
Yeah. And she had the evidence right there. Why is she?
That is the weird part of that one in particular, because that one has no drugs in it. That one's just he walked in and forced a blowjob.
Yeah.
Which is pretty, I mean,
Right.
it is a crazy story. But, okay, let's jump into the conspiracy zone, though. Where would this conspiracy be coming from? Just the man? Is like the man that much at work?
The game is played on such a high level. I would hate to think. I mean, I've seen it played out on a very high level. So for me, this is about a character assassination. It doesn't matter that whether he's guilty or innocent. It's what they've done to him just by the court of public opinion. They took away his series. They took away his special. They took away,
maybe
they
reruns.
took the Cosby show
I know,
off the air. What has that got to do with it? And people talk about because he gave him pills. Everybody has the same story. He gave him pills. This is before he played a doctor. You're taking pills from him? It don't add up to me.
I understand. No, listen. You know what I think it may be? My theory is if it's not true, and I'm 50-50, is that Bill Cosby is not a rapist. What he was an asshole who pissed off a lot of people over a lot of years. Not from being evil, just from shitting on people, just from having bad relationships.
Right.
And now the repercussions, he fucked with some people who are even bigger assholes. And what they're capable of is...
Yeah, I mean, as long as he doesn't say anything, people are going to fill in the script for him. You know what I mean? And when I listen to, I've watched some of these interviews and the women go, and I don't know who's lying, but I know somebody's lying. When they start talking about, well, the first time, how many times?
Did you go back?
This sounds like a relationship that just got out of hand. That's what I said.
Things just started getting bad after a while.
Yeah, the first time. Well, the 17th time.
Will you touch on this issue this weekend at Caroline's? Will this issue be discussed over the weekend?
I'm a flow. The thing is, this is such a touchy subject. You know what I mean? You can't really talk about it because people are, they have their opinions, and again, we are conditioned by what we hear. And so we're super sensitive about everything. And no, this is not really what I want to talk about, but,
See where it goes.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to come by and see you this weekend. Damon Wayans will be at Caroline's all weekend. Tell them the name of the app one more time.
It's called V-Heads, V-H-E-D-Z.
One word.
V-H-E-D-Z.
V-Heads, one word there in the App Store. Damon Wayans, it's been a pleasure, an honor. Say what's up to your son, Damon Jr. And
Junior.
Thanks for coming by, man.
Thanks for having me,
You
man.
already.